welcome back to my Sunday meal prep video. I hope that y'all love these videos because I love making them, and I do put a lot of time and effort into these for y'all each week, and you know, leaving the recipes and the links and everything down below. So I hope that you enjoy it. If you are new here, I typically upload 3 times per week. I kind of have a meal prep video and then a weekly vlog where I'll show eating the meals and stuff that I make, and then usually a weekend vlog with my grocery haul and you know, whatever else we get into. So if that is something that sounds interesting to you, I would love it if you would consider subscribing down below and hitting that notification bell so that you don't miss any of my uploads. Also, like this video because it really helps out my channel, and also follow me over on Instagram if you haven't already. I will leave my Instagram handle here for you on the screen as well. And I also have a really great Facebook group. It is called Finding Our Way. This is the icon to that Facebook group, and there's a direct link down in the description box. Highly recommend that you join it. Lots of great people over there. You get lots of tips and tricks and stuff like that. I co-admin that with Roy from Recipes with Roy and Bree from Balancing Life with Bree. Now, with all that being said, before we get into the video, for our meal plan this week, we are going to do chicken fajitas for one of our meals, along with the Spanish cauliflower rice. And then for a new meal, we are going to try another bubble up, which I think is from the Pound Dropper. I've not printed off the recipe yet. It seems pretty simple. I'm probably just going to follow it on my phone, but we are going to do the bacon cheeseburger bubble up this week. So, and yes, I am using ground beef. I never use ground beef. Here's Nico to say hello to y'all. If you're new here, I have 3 cats. They love me. Nico loves to be on camera. Yeah? Say hi. He said I didn't want to be picked up. But you did. Anyway, yes, I am using ground beef in the recipe. I thought about substituting ground turkey because y'all know how I am. I usually always will. But, you know, I'm feeling like I can eat the beef. I think it comes out to 6 or 7 points per serving. I think hers was like based on the blue, purple, and green plans, and they were all the same across the board for all plans. So again, I will have her recipe linked down below, and then also the link to the recipe in my WW app if you want to import it into your WW app. Also down below is the link to my Amazon store, so lots of stuff that I use today, like my protein powders and different things, may be linked in my Amazon store, so check that out. And yeah, I guess that is it. Oh, for my dessert, I am just going to make my chocolate peanut butter protein cookies. I'm back on my cookie kick because I just kind of feel like, you know, the past month or so after getting sick and stuff, it's kind of taken me a while to get back into my routine, and there is something magical about those cookies. If y'all haven't tried them yet, I'd highly recommend it. It is a good low point, low calorie, high protein treat that fills you up. And I really believe it helps, you know, kind of help boost your weight loss a little bit. I don't know. I always feel like I have good weeks whenever I eat the cookies. I kind of gotten off the cookies for a while and been trying different desserts because I kind of burned myself out on them a little bit. But now your girl is back to the cookies. So if you haven't yet, try the cookies. Don't be afraid to buy the protein powders. They're delicious. They bake up well. But also don't be afraid to substitute if you want to substitute other protein powders in place of the 2 that I use. Now, with all of that being said, let's get into the video. Alrighty, we are getting ready to start on our meal prep for the day. I'm fixing to hit the shower, and this is everything that Charlie is going to prep. So he will dice up 3 or 4 of these chicken breasts for the chicken fajitas. And then, of course, most of these peppers will be used for the chicken fajitas. I will probably just use 4 of them to dice up for me for the week, and then he will just slice up the rest of them for the fajitas. And then we have a nice big cantaloupe and a nice big pineapple that we got from Sam's Club this week, so I'm hoping that they are good. We did pick up 2 pineapples, but these are huge compared to the little ones that we've been getting in the grocery stores. So I'm hoping that this one will be plenty, and then I can use my other one for next week. If not, then we do have it. And then, of course, I will just wash my blueberries, which this is a lot of blueberries. So even if the pineapple is a little bit low, I feel like I have enough blueberries to kind of make up the difference this week. And then we have a nice pretty little tomato for my sandwiches for the week. So not a whole lot to prep, but it will be a little bit time consuming with him having to slice up the bell peppers and of course dice up the chicken and stuff, although he is pretty quick at it. But Nico, do you approve everything? Huh? Does it meet your approval? Say hi to everybody. Say I love y'all. Oh, that's a good boy. All right, guys, we're going to roll into Charlie's prep now.
Mama used to tell me love ain't right if it ain't easy, but I'm in too deep to walk away from you. Papa used to tell me love should never drive you crazy, but I lose my mind if you don't get it soon. I'm addicted to your love, to your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough. I'm a sucker for your love, for your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough. You can end it, say it's over, but I'm never going sober. I'm addicted to your love, to your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough of your love. I want your love. I need your love. 'Cause I'm never gonna get enough of your love. I want your love. I need your love. 'Cause I'm never gonna get enough. Mama used to tell me love ain't right if it ain't easy, but I'm in too deep to walk away from you. Papa used to tell me love should never drive you crazy, but I lose my mind if you don't get it soon. I'm addicted to your love, to your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough. I'm a sucker for your love, for your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough. You can end it, say it's over, but I'm never going sober. I'm addicted to your love, to your love, your love. I'm never gonna get enough of your love. I want your love. I need your love. 'Cause I'm never gonna get enough of your love. I want your love. I need your love. 'Cause I'm never gonna get enough. No, no, no.
Alright everyone, I am ready to make up my fruit bowls per usual. I have my pineapple, my cantaloupe, and my blueberries here washed and ready to go. I did wash them in the vinegar, let them soak for a little bit, and then I'm also going to make 7 containers of the Chobani non-fat Greek yogurt. I think there's enough in here to do the 7 containers. I did pick up the Sam's Club brand if I run out of this, but we are just going to divide the pineapple, cantaloupe, and blueberries evenly. I don't have a whole lot of pineapple. We just used the 1 pineapple this week, but we do have a whole lot of blueberries that I'm going to top in there. So there we go. There is my fruit bowl. I'm just going to go ahead and divide all of these, and then I will show you them at the end. Some people ask what I do with these. These are for my lunch, actually. I usually have one of these with the with the yogurt to dip it in, along with a turkey sandwich or my pizza or something like that. So this is prepared in advance for my lunches. Okay, so I have all of my fruit bowls prepped, my yogurt bowls. This is the tomato that Charlie sliced. I will use on my turkey sandwiches this week. And then I have a nice heaping bowl of bell peppers diced up for me for the week. So fruit bowls turned out good. Lots of blueberries in there, lots of cantaloupe, a little bit lower on the pineapple than normal, but that is okay. I still have a pineapple left for next week as well. So I'm going to get this put up, and then we're going to go ahead and get started on the bacon cheeseburger bubble up. Okay, I am ready to get started on the bacon cheeseburger bubble up casserole. I think earlier I said it was from the Pound Dropper, but it is actually from Drizzle Me Skinny. I decided to go upstairs and print it out because of the notifications and stuff that are always popping up on my phone, because it gets on my nerves when I'm trying to follow a recipe. So anyway, glad that I did, because it is from Drizzle Me Skinny, and hers says it is 7 points on blue, green, and purple, so I'm assuming it should be about 7 points on my personal points plan as well. Again, I will build it in my recipe builder and have that link down in the description box along with the link to her recipe. So it calls for 1 of those little small packages of the 10 biscuits, which I don't know if you remember the last time I made a bubble up, I bought a 4-pack of those and I froze 3 of them. So we actually pulled 1 out yesterday and let it dethaw, and they seem perfectly fine. So I'm going to cut these up into little cubes. We took it out of the container yesterday because we could tell that the biscuits were frozen and shrunk up in there, so we just had them in a plastic bag to dethaw, and I think that worked perfectly fine. For future reference, you can freeze those canned biscuits. And then we need a pound of cooked lean ground beef. I'm going to use this 96% lean from Laura's, and we need 1/4 cup of ketchup, 1/4 of a cup of ketchup. I'm going to use my no sugar added ketchup, and 1/4 of a cup of mustard, which I did go ahead and do the measurement so that I can just weigh that out in grams. That will be 64 grams of ketchup and 60 grams of mustard. We need 4 slices of cooked bacon, and so I have my bacon cooked here. I'm just going to crumble that up. She does not call for any seasonings or anything. 2 tablespoons of breadcrumbs. I need to get my Italian breadcrumbs out because I forgot to get those out. But I am going to salt and pepper my beef. I am going to add some garlic powder and some of the Montreal steak seasoning to it just to give it a little flavor. That's the one thing that I have found on some of these bubble ups. There's not enough flavor in there. And y'all know we like things a little spicy, so I don't want it to be bland. So we are going to season up the meat, and yeah, that's it. One thing she does kind of suggest is to cut your biscuits up, and you might want to put them in the oven in the casserole dish for like 5 to 10 minutes. I think I will do that first. I'm preheating my oven now. I have my casserole dish out. I have my skillet out so that I can brown my meat. So let me get these biscuits cut up. I'm going to put them, I'm just going to spray the casserole dish with some of the butter spray, and then put these in there in the oven for like 5 minutes while I get everything else together. That way they will cook a little bit and then won't be too doughy, because one time I made one of these and she was a little doughy and we didn't like her that much. So I'm going to try to avoid that. But let me grab my breadcrumbs and get started cutting up these biscuits, and we will get this thrown together real quick. And then for a side for this, I am going to make some just steamed broccoli, I think. I got a bag of broccoli at the grocery store yesterday, so I think I'm just going to steam it in the microwave and put it in there as a side. Season it up with some garlic, salt, powder, pepper, salt, all that good stuff. Okay, so I have my biscuits cut up. I just cut each one of them up into fourths. I'm just going to spray my casserole dish, and we are going to place these in here just randomly. Okay, so there's my biscuits in there. As soon as my oven preheats, which is at 330 degrees, it takes forever to preheat, then I'm just going to pop them in for like 5 minutes. I think the last time that it turned out real doughy was the time that I used the 2 ingredient dough, and it was just so soft and it just turned all into mush. But just to be on the safe side, we're just going to pop her in the oven for 5 minutes. So we are going to go ahead and get started on the ground beef, and I'm not going to use any oil on that because I know that there is a little bit of fat in the ground beef. So we'll just let this get started cooking. I'm just going to use this little thing to chop it up. It's from Pampered Chef. I think you can also find alternate ones on Amazon, but this is a handy dandy little tool. And my oven just preheated. I'm actually going to pop my biscuits in real quick. The ground beef is getting pretty browned now. I'm going to drain off a little bit of the fat. Be right back. Okay, so I got the fat drained off of it. I'm just going to go ahead and season it up, and then it will pretty much be done. Let it cook for another minute or 2. So we're just going to add in some salt and pepper. Again, this is something where I feel like you can kind of season to your own taste, add whatever you like, leave out whatever you don't like. We're going to go in with some garlic powder, and we're going to go in with some of the Montreal steak seasoning. Otherwise, I'm afraid it will just be flavorless. And I did turn the heat off on this because it's pretty much completely cooked. I'm going to get a mixing bowl out. What we're going to do is put all of the ingredients in a mixing bowl, mix it up, and then put it on top of the biscuits, which I did just pull those out of the oven. There they are. They don't look really any different. They just cook for 5 minutes. So we will be right back. Okay, now I have the ground beef in the mixing bowl. We are just going to go ahead and add everything else in. Another ingredient that I forgot to get out was the cheese. It does call for 3/4 of a cup of, no, 2/3 of a cup of light shredded cheese. So I'm just going to use this 2% milk Mexican cheese because, I don't know, I think it'll be good in there. We are just going to go ahead and add in our ketchup, which I am going to need my scale for this. So for the ketchup, it's 1/4 of a cup, and I measured that, or I asked Alexa how many teaspoons it was, because the serving size on this is by, no, how many tablespoons. And so it is basically 64 grams is 1/4 of a cup. So that's what we are going to measure out in the ketchup. I just felt like it would be easier to measure it than to try to put it in a container and get it out of that container. There we go. 65 grams, good enough. Same thing for the mustard. It calls for 1/4 of a cup. That is going to be 60 grams of mustard. Okay, got that in. Diced onion, we are not adding. course, you can add diced onion if you like it, but we always leave that out. 2 tablespoons of breadcrumbs. I'm just going to use these Progresso breadcrumbs. These are Italian seasoned. This is a 1/2 tablespoon measuring cup, so we are going to do 4 of these. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. That makes 2 tablespoons. 2 pieces of our bacon chopped up, which I have that here. We are saving the other 2 pieces for later to put on top. And then 1/3 of a cup of cheese, which 1/3 of a cup is hard to measure out. Alexa, how many grams is 1/3 of a cup of cheese?
1/3 cup of cheese weighs about 82 grams.
No, that's wrong because 1/4 of a cup is 28 grams. All right, so here's what we're going to do. For ease of calculations, we're going to just do 3/4 of a cup. So we are going to do 28 grams in here right now, and then we will save 56 grams for later. There we go, 28 grams exactly of cheese. And then we are just going to mix this up. She said in her recipe she liked to use honey Dijon mustard as well, but I didn't have any of that. We just use regular mustard. It's 0 point, so that's what I used. Okay, so now we have our mixture ready. It is mixed pretty well. We are just going to spoon it over the biscuits, and then we are going to bake it in the oven for 20 minutes. Okay, we have it ready to go in the oven for 20 minutes, 350 degrees. Then we're going to take it out, top it with the other part of the cheese and the other 2 strips of bacon, and then it goes back in for an additional 10 minutes. So we will see you back here in 20 minutes, which will be about 5 seconds your time. All right, the casserole has been in the oven for 20 minutes. Now we are going to top with the rest of the cheese, which we're going to do 56 more grams. And I'm just going to measure it by taking it out until it is -56 and sprinkling on top. And then we have the other 2 slices of bacon that I just chopped up as well, and that is going on top. So I think this is going to be pretty good. I hope that it is filling. I mean, she's looking kind of thin. We'll see how it turns out. I've made a couple of the bubble ups. You know, they've always been kind of so-so to me. So we'll see. But hopefully it tastes like a cheeseburger. That's the point. But anyhow, back in the oven for 10 more minutes. Alright, here is the bacon cheeseburger casserole. I think I have it cut into 6 portions. It's probably going to fall apart a little bit because in some places the biscuits are like stuck together. So I'm going to do the best I can and get these into these 6 containers. And then I have my broccoli ready as well. So that's what 1 portion looks like. I'm going to go ahead and divide all 6 of these. All right, I have all 6 of those divided. Let me move this pan, and then we will divide the broccoli as well. Okay, so here is my broccoli. I have already seasoned it with just salt and pepper, garlic powder, and garlic salt, and just kind of mixed it together. And then I'm just going to divide this equally between our 6 containers. Now, my only concern about this meal is that it's kind of like a small portion compared to what we are used to. So we will see if it is filling enough or enjoyable enough on the nights that we eat it to whether or not it kind of comes into the rotation of meals. I guess I could have made like another vegetable side or something to go with it other than just the broccoli. Okay, here is the completed bacon cheeseburger casserole divided out into the 6 portions along with the broccoli. Now we are going to put this up and get started on the chicken fajitas. I am ready to get started on the chicken fajitas and the cauliflower Spanish rice. I actually printed out my recipes so that because it's been a hot minute since I've made these. I feel like I used to make them all the time and then I kind of backed off on it. But basically I have my chicken here. We're going to season it up with salt and pepper as usual, and then use my favorites, ground cumin, chili powder, and then this fajita seasoning, which is really good. And then once it's pretty much done, we will add the Frontera Fajita skillet sauce on there. This is so good. We're going to cook the peppers up. I'm going to cook those in a different skillet. This is a huge pile of peppers too, by the way. So we are going to have lots of bell peppers this week. But then I will combine the chicken and the peppers all together. And then for the cauliflower rice, I am going to use 2 cans of Rotel, 2 bags of the cauliflower rice, 1 can of fire roasted Rotel, 1 can of original. And then I will also season it up with salt and pepper and all 3 of these seasonings as well. So I'm going to get everything started. I'll probably get my chicken seasoned up and get it started. Maybe I'll put the peppers on first. They may actually take longer to cook than the chicken. This green pan cooks pretty quick. So yeah, I'm gonna put the peppers in first, and then we'll do the chicken and get the cauliflower rice going. It has to pretty much soften up, and then you just add everything in it and then let it cook until all of the liquid has dissipated. So all of these are actually really easy. I would say this is a good meal prep for beginners. Super easy to make and very filling and very low in points. And then I do eat my baked Tostitos with it on the nights that I have this. So let's get started. All right, we are gonna get started on the peppers. I'm just gonna spray my olive oil spray in here, and we are gonna add in all of the bell peppers, which look beautiful, by the way. Y'all know I love me some bell peppers. I actually have both of these burners on, so I almost touched the red burner in the back because that's like 2 small burners. But anywho, we are just going to season this up with some salt and pepper and probably a little bit of fajita seasoning, and put the lid on it and let these get softened up. And I do like this Badia fajita seasoning. I have like 2 or 3 of these because, like I said, I used to make these all the time. Alright, so I'm just going to give these a quick little stir, and we're going to pop the lid on, and we will be back to check on those in a few minutes. Now for the chicken. So for the chicken, I have this already sliced up, of course. I'm just going to put salt and pepper on this side of it, and we're going to spray our pan. And I'm just going to put the chicken in and then salt and pepper the other side. Wash my hands, of course. And then I'm just going to salt and pepper this side. And we'll start adding the other seasonings here in a few minutes once it starts cooking. And before that gets started too loud, we will go ahead and get the cauliflower going as well. So I'm just going to spray that in there. And I'm going to go ahead and add in both bags of the rice cauliflower. I did kind of break it up beforehand so it's in little pieces and not big hard chunks. So there's 1 and 2. And we're just going to salt and pepper this and let it soften up as well, and then come back to it. Okay, the chicken is starting to cook pretty good now. I know it's loud, but we're going to go ahead and go in with the chili powder, some ground cumin, and quite a bit of the fajita seasoning. Okay, so the chicken is pretty much done. We're going to turn it down and add in this Frontera sauce, most of it. I'm going to save some, and then when I mix the peppers with it, I'll add the rest so I can get it open. Perfect. Y'all, the Frontera sauce is so good. So we're just going to turn that down. We're going to check on our peppers and then work on the cauliflower rice so that it can start cooking down. So the peppers are coming along nicely. Just going to keep the peppers covered for a little bit. Okay, so I think this is softened up really good. I tried not to let it burn like I did the fried rice a couple of weeks ago because I had it up as hot as it would go and forgot about it. So what we're going to do is go in with 2 cans of Rotel. We've got 1 can of original, and we have 1 can of fire roasted. And then we're also going to add some ground cumin, and then we are going to go in with some chili powder, and then also some of the fajita seasoning. And then we're going to mix this up really well and just basically let this sit here and cook down until there's no liquid left, and it will really kind of look like rice. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. We're going to see if our chicken is ready to put in with our peppers, which I think that it is cooked through. I'm going to actually move my pepper pan over here, cut those off, and then we're just going to add the chicken right in with the peppers, and we're just going to mix this in well, and then we'll add the rest of the Frontera seasoning in there, or the Frontera sauce. And at this point, if you want to taste it and see if it needs any more fajita seasoning or chili powder or salt and pepper, stuff like that, now would be a good time. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add in the rest of the Frontera skillet sauce. And then both of these are pretty much done. They just need to finish cooking a little bit. The chicken and peppers, I'm just going to let them set and cook while the rest of the liquid dissipates in the cauliflower rice, which you can see it's still pretty wet looking, so it's not ready. I'm going to turn the heat up on it a little bit, But I'm gonna let both of these finish cooking down and then we will be ready to plate up. All right, I am ready to divide out the chicken fajitas and then the cauliflower rice. Now this is one of these meals that I am not going to weigh and divide out equally. So we are just going to eyeball it and divide it into the 6 containers. And now I'm just gonna do the same thing with the cauliflower rice. It is actually 0 points per serving for me. So these little containers pretty much are perfect for this meal. It always has been, and it holds the portions just perfectly. So I'm gonna divide this equally between the 6 containers as well. Okay, here are the completed chicken fajitas with the Spanish cauliflower rice. And we'll definitely have a couple of bags of my little baked Tostitos with this. So this is done. That gets all the meals done. I've already made my breakfast kind of in between. So all I have left to make is my chocolate cookies. So that's coming up next. All right, we are ready to make our cookies. So we are going to go in with 1 scoop of the PE Science Select in the chocolate, in the frosted chocolate cupcake. These are linked in my Amazon store if you're interested in purchasing them. They're about $30 something for each container, I think, of protein powder, but they last a long time. So we're going in with 1 scoop of the chocolate, and then we're going to go in with 1 scoop of the Matrix, 1 scoop of the Matrix peanut butter cookie. This one is really good and sweet. Some people ask about substitutions. Feel free to substitute whatever you want. I've personally never tried any substitutions such as PB2 instead of this, but you can always try anything. If it doesn't work out, then at least you tried it. I have started sifting my dry goods just because I use a big heaping tablespoon of the baking powder, and sometimes I was finding little chunks of it in my cookies. So I have been just sifting the dry ingredients. Now we're going to go in with 10 grams of the Hershey's Special Dark Cocoa. And I have my scale here, so I'm just going to weigh that until it hits 10 grams. There we go. And then we're going in with 5 grams of the Jell-O sugar-free chocolate fudge pudding mix. I'm sure any sugar-free chocolate Jell-O would work. We're only using 5 grams, so even if you don't have it, it'd probably be fine. And then, like I said, I'm going in with 1 big heaping tablespoon of baking powder. And I do think that that's necessary. It does help the cookies kind of puff up. And then I'm just going to sift it real quick, and then we're going to mix it. So I got that sifted. I'm just going to mix the dry ingredients well, and then we're going to go in with the pumpkin and the egg whites. Okay, that is mixed well. So I still have half a can of pumpkin left from last week, so that's what I'm going to go in with, which should be about 210, 212 grams or so. There we go, perfect. 213 grams was what was left. And then we're going in with some egg whites. I usually do about 150 grams. And then I'm just going to mix that well. Hopefully it's a good consistency. I accidentally went over the 150 grams. Okay, so I think that consistency looks pretty good. I actually could almost add a little bit more egg whites in there, but I'm not going to because I already went over a little bit. Now we are just going to go in with our baking chips. We're just going to use 14 grams of the Lily's no sugar added dark chocolate baking chips. And we're just going to mix those and then do a little cleanup, and it will be ready to scoop out into the 12 cookies. So I will be right back and we will get these on the sheet pan. Okay, so I have my baking sheet here. I'm just going to spray it with the Pam baking spray. And then I'm just going to use my little cookie scoop and scoop it into the 12 cookies. Okay, there they are. They are ready to go in the oven for 9 to 10 minutes at 350 degrees. You don't want to overcook them. They will be kind of soft whenever they come out, but we let them set until they are, you know, completely cooled down. All right, here are my cookies, fresh out of the oven. I think they cooked perfectly today. I did them for exactly 9 minutes. Again, I will not eat these until much later after they've been in the refrigerator and everything, and then I just reheat them for 30 seconds. They are perfect. All right, we have finally wrapped up today's meal prep video. Thanks, Ozzy, for coming in here to shake while I'm closing out. So we have my 7 containers of fruit and 7 containers of yogurt. Again, these are for my lunches. I will pair this either with a turkey sandwich or one of my pizzas typically. And then we have our chicken fajitas with the Spanish cauliflower rice. I will have some of my baked Tostitos with it. And then over here we have the Drizzle Me Skinny Bacon Cheeseburger casserole with some broccoli. And her calculations are that this is 7 points per serving on green, blue, or purple, which I know we are not on those plans anymore, but I'm imagining it will be about 7 points. I'm a little worried that we're going to be a little hungry on this one because she's looking a little puny. We'll see how we like it, but I'm sure it'll taste fine. I'm just wondering if it's not going to be filling at all. Then, of course, I have my chocolate cookies there. I will have 3 of those each night for a serving. And then I made my breakfast for the week as usual. I actually only have 9 good pieces of bacon there. I'm going to have to make another one, but I'll just worry about that later in the week because all my bacon is frozen. There was one really thin piece in there that just kind of disintegrated. That was my 10th piece. So anyway, I actually saved it, so I will just feed it to the animals on Friday because I'm usually home on Fridays. So I will have to like make 1 piece of bacon, but that is fine. I will worry about that later. I need to let it defrost. So with all of that being said, I think I have completed another successful meal prep. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me for another meal prep video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and click that red subscribe button down below and hit that like button if you like this video. It really helps my channel out. And thank you to my Jennifer's Gems that make it all the way to the end of each video. I love you guys. I appreciate every one of you, and I will see you all in the next video. Mwah.